Hello, and welcome back to episode 6 of my small business journey. In the last episode, I took you guys through my week of how I prepared for my second vendor market. And in this week's video, I will be telling you guys all about my experience. And honestly, it was something. Okay, the vendor market day. So, the vendor market was actually in a really great location. It is in an iconic location within the city that I'm in, and those of you who may have seen some of my posts or maybe have seen my Instagram may now know that I am in Philly, and the vendor market was in the Oval. For any of you who don't know what the Oval is essentially like this big painted parking lot that is in front of the art museum, or as some of you who may have visited the city or have heard of it, the Rocky Steps. It's the art museum. It's the Philly Art Museum, but everyone from like out of town might only know it as the Rocky Steps. So that's where it was. The market was from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., so a full 6-hour day. And we get there, and I start setting up at booth 34 because I had read a list that the organizer had sent us, and in my brain I saw 34, and so we go there and we start setting up at 34. We get pretty far. We get up the tent that I had just bought, we unfold the table, he's working on the rack. I start putting my aprons up on the rack, and then this wonderful lady comes and she's like, "Excuse me, are any of these people you? I think I'm supposed to be 34. And I feel so bad because it turns out in my excitement to get ready and get started, I was one over. Luckily, I wasn't way across the parking lot. I was just one over. I was actually 35. No big deal. Done and done. So after moving the table over, we continue setting up, and the displays, the glasses cases and bookmarks are coming out well. All of my inspiration that I took for the color coding is working exactly the way that I needed to. And my fiance puts up the sign that I hand painted at the front of my table by just sort of hitching it onto the middle of the table where it folds. A little hack that I figured out. So I have, as you guys may have known, I started making mini tote bags, my tiny traveler tote. And online, I see like these little hooks that you can buy for tote bags. And instead of buying those for an upcharge, I instead got some clearance shower hooks. But they were really pretty. They were gold, and then they had like this clear acrylic siding on the two sides, and it worked perfectly. I think I got like 20 of them for $5, which was way better than getting 10 for like $10. I know it's only like a 50 cents or whatever difference, but I'll say 50 cents where I can. Who knows, one day it'll add up. But anyway, so we get it all set up, we get it all going. And then he decides to leave to go to a cafe because was kind of in the swing of things. It's really hot, and I kind of tell him like to go take a break, and so he goes, he takes a break, and it's fine. And then all of a sudden it starts pouring rain, like hurricane, tropical thunderstorm, pouring rain. And I find out that my tent is actually cracked and broken. And I am completely unprepared. I have no sidings to my tent, my canopy. I have no waterproofing trash bags. I see other people and they're like putting up these sidings and they're all prepared and they're ready to go. And I have a partially cracked gear on my tent, no waterproofing, all of my things are fabric, and it is downpouring. Here's a video of what the waterfall looked like, the waterfall near the oval, to show you how strong the wind is. So I spend about 45 minutes holding up the sides of my tent to make sure it doesn't blow away. And I just stand there. I just stand there holding everything in. Luckily, all of my displays were within my tent, and I didn't have anything out of the tent. And so it all stayed relatively dry. Like, of course, like some rain spray had gotten on a few things, but I was just more focused on making sure my tent didn't fly away because there were other people and their tents were falling down. And I so desperately wanted to like help. Like, that's like my instinct is to like go and try and help them. But if I did, my tent would fly away, and then what use is that to anybody? Like, my things are flying away, your things are flying away. So I had to just stand there like with a death grip, holding on to the middle part of my tent to anchor it down, and also the part that was a little bit more faulty, and I just hold those two parts stable. Now, I actually found that crack when I was my fiance found that crack when we were putting up the tent initially. And so we thought it would be fine because it was supposed to just be a sunny, calm day. But then the thunderstorm started, and so that was a whole thing. And it started like literally the moment he started walking away to the cafe and was gone. So the whole time I was there by myself, holding my tent down and just trying to make sure that I and the tent and all of the things that I had just spent a month on didn't fly away or get absolutely soaking wet. I think the only thing that was ruined was a paper bow that I had put on a little picture frame that held all the QR codes to my social medias. But yeah, so that's how that went. The thunderstorm came through and just swept through and demolished a lot of our things. I just felt so bad for the people whose tents were falling down. I couldn't do anything about it. Afterwards, like when it was all over, the organizer, she was so nice. She went and like walked around to go talk to everybody, like make sure that they were okay, if they needed help. Like she jumped in and she was helping people getting their things set back up, and like handing out water. She was so kind and wonderful. So when the thunderstorm finally stopped, the sun came right back out and it was beautiful again. And it was sunny. It was super sunny, so sunny that it started getting really humid and like the air was so thick, but it was sunny and it dried everything out, which was wonderful. Like that was what I was expecting from the day. It was to just be like humid and sunny, but it went back to that and I was like, oh, thank goodness. I'm so glad that this is happening. Even when it was raining, there were a few people that sort of like huddled in with me, which was really kind and really sweet. They're awesome. So once the thunderstorm was over and the sun was back out, a lot of people started making their way through the market. There were a lot of different kinds of vendors there. There were other handmade vendors. There were like people who made cold pressed juices and vintage sellers and things like that. So it was a really good, diverse group of us that were there. And there were a lot of people walking through, which was getting really exciting. I did my best to not be like overly pushy and like staring at people and smiling. Like when they would smile, I would smile back and just say hello. And then when they started coming closer and like looking at things, that's when I would sort of engage with them and things like that. So it worked. But this is where, like I was saying earlier, my storyboarding instead of branding really helped me. And that was when this very kind lady stopped by and was looking at my aprons, and she was just asking me about them. And I just told her the truth, which is it's inspired by the powerful women in my life, and my aprons come from the namesake of women that had a great inspiration on me. And she was very kind, and she was happy to hear a story. She told me that it's very nice to see people still sewing and being interested in that. And then she just looked at me and said, I would like to support your small business. I was elated, to say the least. It touched my heart in a way that there are no words. That she was just so genuine and kind, and I was trying to play it cool as I was on my phone trying to work my Shopify POS, and she bought an apron. And when she did, I folded it up, put it in a bag for her. I sent her a receipt, and she wished me great luck. And yeah, it was wonderful. I haven't felt anything like that before, because I had made a sale earlier that day, but they had bought a scrunchie and a matching bandana. But for someone to purchase an apron was so amazing, because like that was the first thing that I had ever made, and my aprons are what inspired Melrose Haven. And for me to grow and to branch and to have different types of items relating to the home and comfort and like nostalgic memories, and for someone to have said that to me so genuinely took me over the moon. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, a lot of the confidence that I have for doing vendor markets comes from you. That may seem really cliche or really random, because you guys don't know me personally, and I don't know all you personally, but you are so encouraging, and your guys' words have been so genuine. The fact that you watch and you're here with me is amazing, and then to have that same energy be tangible in real life is something extraordinary. And I'm so glad that I went and I did that, because she wasn't the only person that bought an apron. Close to when the market was closing, somebody else purchased an apron, and I didn't have my oven mitts out at the time, and she was just telling me how like she'll be coming online to like see when I have my oven mitts, and then she followed me, and I don't know, I'm getting off tangent here, but I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful for everyone that even looked my way. And during that market, I remember one time there was this group of girls walking by, and she looked at my sign, and I saw her mouth the words Melrose Haven. And I was just like so proud because of like, yes, she could read the sign, and yeah, it sounds good. Like oh my gosh, this is really has been amazing. Like I'm geeked. I don't know. But it's been great. And I thank a lot of you guys for being so encouraging to me and this journey that we're all on, because from your comments and how you guys interact, we're all trying to do the same thing here, right? We're trying to make a different life for ourselves and a different career. At least that's what I'm doing. Overall, as important as reaching my goal was for me that day at the vendor market, I think being able to exercise the things that I've been teaching myself and the things that I've been learning on this journey has been super important and really useful in order to obtain the goals that I set out for myself. But yeah, so I made a total of 6 sales that day. And I had reached my goal, which was really exciting. The cleanup was relatively easy because I was able to store things much better, and I knew how to store things. I do have to return to the store and get rid of that tent and exchange it. I'm hoping that they have a different color because they only had blue, which is fine. It doesn't really go with the aesthetics that I'm trying to go for. So hopefully they have just a different color tint, color canopy to go over the frame. So that was my second ever vendor market experience. Thank you guys so much for being so encouraging and kind and nice to me. And thank you for anyone that, if you're here, that followed me from that market. I deeply appreciate it. I hope to see you whenever the next market is, if you're there. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up. For the next video, I am going to be starting on my wedding dress and my reception dress for my December wedding date, which is only 5 months away. So if you are interested in seeing how all of that turns out and how all that goes, stay tuned and join me next time where I take you through my wedding dress journey. Thank you again, and see you next time.